Okay, here's a scenario for you. You've started building a house. The house has all of its main components, but for example, for whatever reason, you forgot the roof. An inspector comes around and says, hey, maybe you should put a roof on the house or the house won't be safe to live in. He then gives you a list of feedback and leaves. Are you going to knock down the house and start again? The answer is simple, no. You take the information that has been given to you and you're expected to make improvements on their feedback. To make a long story short, that is formative assessment. Black and Williams looked at over 750 research journals on assessment, narrowing it down to just 250 that they found relevant. After that, they began conducting a study with even fewer journals and began to understand if they could conclude if formative assessment works or not. They specifically looked at three components. Is there evidence that improving formative assessment raises standards? Is there evidence that there is room for improvement? And is there evidence about how to improve formative assessment? The answer they found for all of these was yes. Formative assessment does work. The example given is this. Learning gains are measured by comparing the average improvements in the test scores of pupils involved in this project, with a range of scores that are found with typical groups of pupils on the same tests, not on the project. The ratio of the former divided by the latter is known as an effect size. Typical effect sizes of the formative assessment experiments were between 0.4 and 0.7. These effect sizes are much larger than most found in any other educational interventions. The following examples illustrate some practical consequences of such large gains. An effect size of 0.4 would mean that the average pupil involved in this study would record the same achievement as a pupil in the top 35% of those not involved. An effect size gain of 0.7 in the recent international comparative studies in mathematics would have raised the score of a nation's ranking in the mid-20s of 41 countries into the top 5. What we need to understand is that an assessment is only formative if the teacher uses the information given to enhance the learning process. Just giving a student grades and not using the information that is given to you, that is bad practice. However, if you gave your students a homework task and then put feedback on the work, getting the students to work on the feedback, that is formative. This then turns homework into a positive part of the learning cycle. And by using formative assessment, it allows you to remove obstacles that disrupt students' learning. Now let's look at medals and missions. Imagine the start of our process is at the bottom of a mountain. We need to split up the learning into 3 sections to get to the top. Our goal is to get to the top of the mountain or as high as we possibly can if we can't make it to the top. We then have medals, or how far they have gotten up the mountain. This is to help show a student they are progressing, possibly in the form of a reward or a verbal or written reinforcement. And then there's missions. What can we do to progress, to reach that end goal, to get to the top of the mountain, and how can we do it better or improve? And that is mission and medals in a nutshell. When we are using this in teaching, only information should be given, not a grade. This is because if a student gets a high grade, they will become complacent, not listen to your feedback, and then not progress any further. But vice versa, if they get a low grade, a student could go into panic mode and possibly shut down. So information is what they require. You can do this by doing group quizzes, personal tutor meetings, and putting comments on students' work. Thanks for watching. Bye!